Hello everyone, SPSA here, and welcome back to Fortnite OG. Yep, I am doing another one of these. And we have two new buffs, or two new things that they added to Fortnite OG. First one you can see here is the bush. That was added to Fortnite OG. And the second was buffs to Slurp Juice. So, let's drop into the first game of this video. Alright, so here we are. Game number 1. Or I guess technically game number 3, but yeah, whatever. It's game number 1 of the video. And like I said, Fortnite OG buffs Slurp Juice. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is OG, it's not part of Season 1. So you'd unironically like to shoot yourself in the foot? Is basically what I'm gathering here. Greasy growth, there we go. So you'd like to intentionally shoot yourself in the foot? Like, this is a good change and all, but I almost wish they just fast-tracked mini potions and just put those in the game now. And like, bushes, those are a part of, like, those weren't added until later either. But I didn't see anyone whine about bushes being added to the game, mostly because I don't think anyone noticed bushes were even added. Whatevs. But Slurp Juice, basically the buff is now instead of restoring your health and shield to just 25, it heals your health and shield to 75. No. Yet no. Absolutely not. This is a good change. And a change that would have been made regardless. Because this change was actually, speaking of Slurp Juice here, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Because that change was made in Fortnite Chapter 1, Season 5. In many people's opinions, best Fortnite season. We're spread thin for healing options already. So just, why not buff the one of the few we have in the game currently now? All you had was a sniper rifle. How did you think you were going to even... Yeah, no. How did you... You only had a sniper rifle. How did you think you were even gonna kill me with that? You ever tried close ranging with a sniper rifle? I have. It doesn't usually end well. Yeah, I have tried close ranging with a sniper rifle. It doesn't usually end well. All you have is a pistol and an Agent Jones skin. Except you're not Agent Jones, you're just a bot cosplaying as Agent Jones. Because I guarantee you a Chapter 2 player would be playing a bit better than that. But yeah, now, one thing I did want to discuss in this video was something I just kind of came to an epiphany about, is Fortnite OG. It's not a one-to-one return to Chapter 1. Nor was it ever going to be, and I personally knew that going in. But I personally knew that going in, So I had my expectations in check. I knew it wasn't going to be one-to-one because, one, we're in a completely different engine. So the graphics aren't... Like, you can get the OG textures, the OG storm. You can get all that, but the lighting... the current version of UE5 uses a more advanced lighting engine than UE4 did back in Chapter 1, so... Or maybe Chapter 1 was still in UE5. I don't know. Someone's gonna correct me in the comments, but... We're in a completely different engine that handles lighting completely differently. And I don't even think the new lighting is bad. Like, Chapter 6, even on, like, mobile and stuff, still looks, like, really, really dang good. It's just not the same, and I went into that... I knew that going into Fortnite OG. I knew that at the most it would probably just be a remastered greatest hits compilation like Season OG was trying to be. With stuff like the Chapter 3 movement and even moving while healing, which you can't even do with the Slurp Juice, so... You only get movement while healing with, like, shield pots and medkits, so... I guess if you want the OG experience, just as far as healing goes, just heal exclusively with Slurp Juice. And I already know that when they introduce the Chug Jug, it is totally going to be the Chapter 2 remix variant, where it's not only huge, but you can walk with it. Oh, hello. Okay. And died to another Juice World. Cool, and they had a gold star. So anyway, as I was saying, Fortnite OG was pitched as the return to the OG map, return to the OG loot pool, and all that. But what we got wasn't really that. What we got was a modern approximation to that. A remaster, if you will, of Chapter 1. And that's fine. I knew it wasn't going to be one-to-one to Chapter 1, because it's never going to be. One, we're in a brand new engine. We're in a new engine. Two, the player base has gotten far better at this game since Chapter 1 Season 1 dropped. And three, we've already had 3 chapters to get accustomed to the Chapter 3 movement, so removing it arbitrarily for this mode wouldn't really make much sense. Same with turbo building, although if you want to handicap yourself, you can just turn turbo building off. To one pump you. Ha! It won't turn it off for everyone else, but it'll turn it off for you. Eh. But like, I've gotten used to turbo building mainly because turbo building is turned on by default. Nice heals. Too bad you wasted them. I'm gonna take your bandages, though. And I believe if Epic just, off the jump, positioned Fortnite OG as a remaster of Chapter 1 with modern quality of life changes and all that stuff, it probably would have been better received. It's Epic's misleading advertising. It's not false advertising. It's misleading advertising. There is a difference. False advertising would be if Epic announced, hey, we're going back to Chapter 1, but actually sent us back to Chapter 2 instead. That would be false advertising. This is misleading advertising. The reason people got so angry and up in arms was because Epic positioned it as a... I don't know how it took me this long to realize this, but the basic buildings in LEGO Fortnite are modeled after this one. And that's kinda cool. But anyway, people were so angry because Epic was like, oh, it's going to be OG Fortnite. It's going to be exactly how it was back in 2017. But then we have sprinting, sliding, and mantling, which wasn't the thing until 2022 with the launch of Chapter 3. Yeah, I know mantling was technically introduced in Chapter 3, Season 2, and it was added to accommodate Zero Build, because of course Zero Build was technically an LTM, a forced LTM. Build was disabled for the first week, but it was an LTM for the first week. Mantling was added to accommodate Zero Build, and since Zero Build is still a thing, and because we don't have any mobility, stuff like the grapplers, the ATKs, the shopping carts, the driftboard, all of that stuff wasn't introduced until later in Chapter 1. The ATKs weren't introduced until Season 5. The driftboard, I believe, wasn't introduced until either Season 6 or 7. The shopping cart, I believe, was introduced in either Season 3 or 4, so we'll only have to wait a couple months. We'll only have to wait a few months for that, but and of course ATKs were introduced in Season 5, I said that already. And then we of course had planes in Season 7, and then the baller in Season 8. That lasted through the rest of the chapter. And let me just say, I hope planes are buffed back to having infinite fuel. Same with the ballers, because hello, bot. And goodbye, Harley Quinn. Where did that bot go? Yeah, but people are saying, oh, they should just disable sliding, sprinting, and mantling for build mode and keep it in Zero Build. Don't frickin' run from me. This is exactly what I was talking about in the last video. Bots will actively avoid fighting you. I mean, at least he led me out of the storm, but still. And I'm just saying, unbind your sprint key and just don't mantle and tell me how enjoyable the game is for you after that. Go on, I'll wait. You did it? Tell me how that was for you in the comments. The sprinting, sliding, and mantling was added to accommodate zero build. I don't really incorporate building into my playstyle because that's just not how I play Fortnite. But I hate zero builds, so I'm not going to play it. Sprinting, sliding, and mantling was added to accommodate zero build, and people are like, oh, we'll just keep it enabled for zero build and disable it for regular build, and disable it for build mode. On paper, that would sound fine, but I guarantee you, if sprinting, sliding, and mantling were disabled for build mode, people would still complain. Because, again, we have no mobility. So most likely what will happen is newer players who are used to sprinting, sliding, and mantling will just constantly get stuck in the storm. Making the game less enjoyable for them. You're probably saying, oh, well, newer players can just play Chapter 6 if they want. Newer players can just play Chapter 6, and like, why the fuck would you gatekeep a mode? If your answer to newer players not enjoying OG is just play another mode, like, why are you gatekeeping a potential good experience from them? A potentially good experience from them. Hey, Peter Griffin. That's not very OG of you. Hey, Peter. I'm not getting killed by another juice wolf. Okay, but like, yeah, if you're gonna gatekeep a mode from a pretty large demographic of players, then you live a miserable life. I'm sorry, but you do. My philosophy is, if it's a game aimed towards children, or if the target demographic for said game is children, while it shouldn't be babyfied, it should at least be accessible to everybody. And alienating newer players from one specific mode is, from a business standpoint, is just a horrible idea. You're going to lose players in the long run. If you just alienate newer players that want to experience roughly what Fortnite was like back in 2017. Hell, it's why I wanted to play this mode. Yes, I still consider Chapter 3 OG, but I don't consider myself an OG player. Yeah, so if your answer to... There's my bridge. There's my bridge over Loot Lake. Yeah, so if your answer to fixing OG is, or your answer to to newer players who are rightfully complaining about OG being a bit too difficult, which, yeah, it's difficult, and that's what makes it fun. Yes, OG is difficult, and that's what makes it fun. If you just alienate your if you just alienate a large portion of players by trying to gatekeep a specific mode, then you're a miserable person. No. Bro, don't run from me. Okay, I'm going to grab the supply drop real quick. Just so I can top up on... Ooh, purple scar. Cool. So I can just top up on shield pots in case I need them. But it doesn't look like I will. Haha! Episode 2 and we got a victory royale. I think that is it from me. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, if you want to support me financially, there will be a link to my Patreon. And if you want to check me out on my other social medias, then those will be in the description as well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys later. Bye!